Hey y'all, welcome to Witty Banter.
I'm Monica.
And I'm Paola, and today it's going to be a little bit of a different episode. We were planning on having burning questions with Doctora Elba Garcia.
Yes.
But we got an email.
Yes, so she is under the weather as of right now, but the episode will happen. I want her to be in the studio at the Epic so that y'all can see her and experience her story because it's pretty awesome. And I think it's awesome to see a Latina in power in local government.
Absolutely, yes.
So we'll stay tuned for that episode. But tonight or today, we are going to do burning questions with each other. It's going to be a little bit different than what we typically do as far as, having questions for ourselves or having people put questions in. So we're going to do basically a mental checkup with each other as part of this month.
Yeah, because we did have our mental health awareness episode with Cameron, and he did an exceptional job, we definitely talked about some hard things. But today we want to check in mentally. We have done this before, but want to see from a scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing the month of May?
So this month, ironically enough, has been the hardest mental month for me. Just kind of going through some changes. The weather also kind of contributes to a lot of it, I think. And a lot of people have that in common where they're just kind of like, if it's gloomy and rainy outside, it's not necessarily a good day. So yeah, just a couple of stresses in life,
Yeah.
So I was telling Paola earlier before we started the podcast, I like being transparent about what's going on in life. And it's been really difficult. Last night, kind of had a panic attack and I was going to bed,
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things where people are always like, well, you can be okay. If you decide to be okay, you could be okay. But what people don't realize with depression and anxiety, it kind of hits when it does, and then it kind of goes when it does.
Right. And it's like you can spiral into a whole little black hole because of one little thing that happens.
Exactly.
Right? Like one trigger will take you into a whole another plane of existence.
That's what the kids now call crashing out.
Crashing out. No, don't crash out.
I have my final reason as to start crashing out. But but ultimately, it's always good to have the support system to just make sure like, hey, you're doing okay. Yeah. You're doing a great job. Yeah. But yeah, it's just like I walked in here, I'm like, my energy level is really, really low. And it's just one of those times,
Yeah, for sure. I actually take medication for my anxiety because of my Graves' disease.
Yeah.
And somehow the insurance didn't like fill whenever it was supposed to fill. They were saying like, oh, you're not going to get your medication until May 24th, which is this weekend. But I was able to call my doctor and fill the prescription. But like right before a few of our gigs, I didn't have any medication. So it was like, oh my gosh, I have to really apply all of these tools, like deep breathing. Let me do some yoga.
Exactly.
Let me like talk myself out of this, self-talk, like all of these little tools that I learned from therapy had to really come into play because I didn't have the extra supplement of like leveling my hormones out, leveling my anxiety out. So yeah, it was tough at first, but I'm back on the medication. So things are a little easier now.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't necessarily realize like we're still human at the end of the day. And I've mentioned it multiple times throughout the podcast, but we have a process. You have a process in which you perform. I have a process in which I do beforehand. Only recently have I had to start taking something for performance anxiety, but it's not necessarily for the performance per se. Because I know like once you get up on stage, it makes you feel...
it's like everything just disappears, melts away. You're like zoned in. You're like, okay, I know these songs. Let's fucking go.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's not necessarily like the performance that we're concerned about. I think it's just the fact of, and I've said it before too, is that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves because we want to do the best that we can for everybody.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, recently I've had to start taking something for performance anxiety, but it's also helping with other parts of anxiety that I'm experiencing. So, yeah.
Good. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you think you are? Where do you think you are?
Realistically, it would be like a 5.
Like a 5.
I would say. Yeah. I want to say 2, but it's really not that bad. Like it was It was last week. Last week was hard.
Yeah.
Last week was very, very difficult. But today we're at a 5. Okay. And that's a progress.
Yeah, that is progress. That's good. Yeah, I would say I'm about like a 7, 8, just because things have been just chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, been chill. We've been fine. Busy.
We're okay
fine.
over here.
We're good. Everything's fine. Everything else is on fire. Like
no, if you could see around us, if y'all could only see outside, they have like flags waving for Memorial Day, and like the flags are just going all crazy and stuff.
The wind is like 30 miles per hour right now. Okay, like my umbrella like opened up. I'm like, oh. No, I'm wearing a white shirt. I can't get wet, y'all.
So between the buildings is this wind tunnel that happens. And so I'm over here with my umbrella trying to hold my cup at the same time with my bag and everything. And then
same. So yeah, we have a little gloomy weather.
Almost had a Mary Poppins moment.
Girl, for real, flying off. Yeah, and I also got into gardening this week too. I got a little bruise right here because I was picking up all the wood. Like I actually made the little
bed. You made the bed.
I made the bed. So I was like, okay, that's another thing that I like to do is just like immerse myself in nature whenever I'm feeling like low, because not gonna lie, my phone gives me anxiety. Like I'm
all
like
the time. Yeah.
Throw it away. I'm like, no, putting it away, not doing that. So like getting away from the phone and just like immersing myself in nature. And I went to Lowe's, got like the little wood planks, got the little things I saw on TikTok, like somebody making their own bed without any tools.
TikTok has helped me with so many freaking things. It's not even funny. But yeah.
So I'm like, I need to buy more like soil to like mix, and like I made my own little like soil mix so that the seeds will grow and like the little plants will come out, and I'm excited. I'm germinating them right now. So like if y'all had a really good pre-K, kinder, first or second grade teacher, they probably made you put a little lima bean in a plastic bag wrapped in a paper towel, moist and everything, put it away in like a dark place and see the little roots come out. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's in the pantry. Like I have cilantro seeds, watermelon, cantaloupe seeds, basil, sage. Gonna try lettuce and spinach. I heard that those are more like winter crops, but the seed package says you can do it during the summer.
So listen to the seed package.
So I'm gonna go ahead and listen to the seed package. If they lying, I'll let y'all know.
And then once she has like a watermelon or whatever,
I'll bring the whole watermelon.
She's gonna put it right here.
Yes, I'll put it right there to let y'all know that I have a green thumb.
She did that.
I did that. Okay.
She cooked.
Yes, exactly. So I'm hoping that things come out, but I'm not like expecting anything because this is my first time ever trying anything like this.
Girl,
so
I mean,
we'll see.
You have a green thumb. You do.
I have a lot of plants. I do, but I've never done anything like outside.
Okay.
See,
that's the difference.
I'm able to control what happens inside. I'm not able to control what happens outside. Okay, girl. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's gonna get
with
hot.
this Texas weather, you never know. You never know.
Like ahorita, it's gonna rain. It's gonna storm.
Maybe next month it'll snow.
Yeah, exactly. So who knows? Who knows?
She bipolar.
Speaking of mental health awareness, Texas, you need help.
Go to therapy,
girl.
Get yourself some pills,
girl. Yes. You know who else need help? The characters of The Last of Us.
Oh my gosh, I wanted to talk about this. So we also wanted to talk about The Last of Us mainly because it's a TV show that I didn't realize we all were watching, Theory included. And so I'm like, yes, I can finally be a geek with somebody other than my other friends. So shout out to Eric who got me into the show and like was really watching it with me because that's my only friend that like watches
nerdy shit.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, yeah. So I haven't seen the episode for this weekend.
That just released Sunday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I haven't seen that one, but I've seen the episode before. There might be a couple of spoilers in here, but I think we're just gonna
beware. If you have not watched The Last of Us, it is an HBO Max show that is pulled from the video game The Last of Us, which follows an apocalyptic type of dystopian environment where people get like mushrooms or like fungi infections that turn them into zombies.
Yeah.
And so now there's like a whole group of people who haven't been infected and are trying to survive. And we follow these two characters, Joel and Ellie, and they go through this whole journey of trying to survive and get to a colony that is secured with a wall and everything. So we are in season 2.
Yes.
And we have made it to the colony.
Yes.
And they have done their life for like what, the past 5 years, I guess.
It's this whole thing because there's like a lot of time that lapses through the games. So I'm gonna be real honest and say that I didn't play the video games.
Yeah, I didn't play the video games either.
Because
Christian was the one who played the first one.
Yeah.
And then the second one, he's like, I don't know what the hell's happening here, but it's a good show. So
but your girl has anxiety, as I've said many, many times, and the game is very jump scare.
Yeah.
It's very much you have to like be prepared for anything because
these zombies will jump out.
Yeah.
And they will try to bite you.
And there's different types too. So again, going down the rabbit hole on TikTok of the different the stalkers and the Rat King and all of these all of these different monsters, the bloaters, which are like really, really big. And so if you're into that kind of thing, definitely watch the show. Definitely like play the games, or if you're like me who YouTubed the gameplay, because there's a bunch of people that'll play and stream.
Right.
So I'm like, I'll just watch that.
Yeah.
Just for the storyline.
No, I haven't even watched that. I haven't played the game. I'm not really a video game player anyway.
I used to be.
I'll do some Tetris, do some Pac-Man, some like just I
something practical.
I don't do the shooting games. I'm like, what button do I press again? How do I shoot?
How do I jump?
Yeah, wait.
Why can't I make it?
I'm trying to punch him. I'm jumping. It's like pressing the wrong button. I'm like, no. I'll sit down and read a book while you play the game. Like,
right.
I will watch you play. I have no problem doing that.
It really just depends on the video game, because ultimately you have games where there's like kind of chill, like you can kind of just walk around like the different worlds or the different parts of the worlds that are created. But then there's like other games where you actually have to have like a storyline. And I like those that have the storyline. So going back to Last of Us, we'll get there in a minute, but my favorite video games that I like to enjoy playing, and I'll replay them because, it's just something that I'm familiar with, right? So my favorite game growing up was Kingdom Hearts, and like the whole thing with like Disney combined with Final Fantasy. So it's characters from Final Fantasy also with the world of Disney, and you have all the different types of characters. They even have like Pirates of the Caribbean as part of the game. There's different like it's awesome. It's such a wholesome experience to experience it the first time, but then going back into it, knowing what you're like, oh, I can do this now because
Are there any like secret areas that you could go back and like try to figure out?
Well, it's definitely that, and then you're fighting off enemies. You're also collecting treasure, which you can also create things from the treasure that you collect. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I know Theory knows about it too, because we've had a conversation about it. So that's one of them, and then the other one is the Life is Strange franchise, because there's different ones there. So Life is Strange is it's a decision making game. Where your decisions, we just talked about this, your decisions have consequences. And the first video game, because not all of them are the same, they eventually like circle back to the same story. But the very first game, you're following a character named Max, and Max all of a sudden is able to turn back time out of nowhere to Max. Stop different situations from happening. So she has this superpower. It's not a long time that she has it, but you're with her and you're playing as her to kind of help navigate through her experiences. So if there's a decision that you make, there's a different outcome at the end. So I like that a lot. Cool. Those are cool to me, I think.
Yeah.
But sometimes I get pissed because I'm just like, it could have gone so differently.
You're like, no, I should have gone left instead of right. Damn
it. Exactly. So the Life is Strange franchise is pretty cool. There's 5 of the games now, and 2 of which follow the same storyline, right? There's one that just recently released. Is that the word? Released? My brain is just gone today. So yeah, I'm a nerd. You knew this before. You knew this before we got into this podcast.
I know, and now we get to talk about some nerdy stuff.
Yes.
So in the video game, from my understanding, because remember I have not played this game, but I watched the little like the making of The Last of Us, and like
I did
see all these things. And I guess the directors are really into the game, and so they take scenes from the game and like put it into the TV show to like really like immerse you. And the people who are fans of the show and do like, or fans of the video game, they can feel like, dang, they really brought the video game to life.
For real. Like the first season, they did such a good job because it felt very much video game like at the beginning. So spoiler alert if you haven't played the game, Joel had a daughter before all of this apocalyptic things happened, right? She dies. Right. But in the game, like you're driving the vehicle away and like it's pretty, or not the game, yes, and then in the show it's the same thing.
The same thing, yeah.
So it's like you're viewing it as if you were playing the game all over again, and they did a really good job. The casting is a little different. You know, obviously people kind of perceive certain characters as certain ways. Right. A lot of people are hating on Bella Ramsey, and I need y'all to stop.
Why? Because, I like Bella.
Exactly, but I think the thing that people are getting bothered about is in season 2 they make her kind of, Ellie's character is supposed to be, yes, playful ultimately and kind of like she's adolescent.
16, yeah. Right? Or at least in the flashbacks, now she's 19.
I believe so. Episode, yeah. So people are basically saying like, well, they dumbed down Ellie and made Dina the smarter character and this and that. And I'm just kind of like, I could kind of see where they're coming from in the sense, but Bella Ramsey is a human.
Well, the way I see the character of Ellie is like she's impulsive.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean she's stupid. It's just she doesn't rationalize things because she's a teenager.
Yeah.
You know, basically. And she literally had to survive on her own for a while. I'm like, okay, spoilers, because Joel and her relationship gets really like exposed in this last episode. I'm not gonna say anything, but you really get to see like how they drifted apart and then came back, and then obviously the tragedy. I'm not gonna spoil that, but the tragedy happened.
Pedro Pascal, Zaddy.
No! Context clues if you haven't watched it.
Sorry, but that man is beautiful. Okay, with a beautiful heart. He's funny. He's Latino.
What else, girl?
Humanitarian, you know? So it's like, it's hard not to be attracted to him.
And then he has like this dad role with Ellie.
Yes.
And you can really see that dynamic of like father-daughter. But Ellie, being the impulsive teenager who she is and didn't have any family when Joel found her, like she is independent. And she like there was one scene where she's like, "You're not my fucking dad. You're my partner.
Yep.
I'm gonna come with you. Like, don't treat me like your daughter." Right? And I was just like, "Damn it, Ellie, you're like," in that scene she was 16 or no, she just turned 19. And so in that scene I was just like, "Girl, you're still young. Like, I get it. 19 years old. I thought I was an adult.
A lot of these kids
going
are
into
like that.
Freshman year of UNT. Like, I'm on my own, right?" But in that sense, I was just like, oh my gosh, Ellie, you have no idea. Like, he lost his daughter, and now like you are his only like family at
basically,
this point.
Yeah. So I mean, in the game as well as in the show, we know at the very beginning that Ellie is immune to the zombie-like things. They're called clickers, stalkers, all of that. We'll just stick with the clickers.
Yeah.
So she's immune to being infected. There's some kind of reason as to why. I didn't necessarily go down that rabbit hole because I'm not interested.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the reason why Joel and her meet in the first place is because Joel has to take her to the Fireflies, which is kind of like a government dystopian style type thing, to try to find a cure with her blood. That was the whole mission. That is like the main course of the mission. That did not happen.
Spoiler, Joel saves Ellie.
But in the process, he did some killing that he maybe should have just not done. And ultimately, again, choices have consequences. So in the season 2, which we're trying not to
I know, try not to spoil.
We're trying not to spoil, but ultimately in season 2 you find out what those consequences are, which also leads Ellie down this path of vengeance and just of anger and just all of these things, all of these big emotions for a young person to experience, which if you really think about it, teens nowadays, even if they're 18, 19, getting into their 20s, it's not necessarily like rationality first and then we go emotional.
Right.
It's always emotional.
Emotional first. Yeah.
And especially with females, you know? So it's like, it's cool to see the game come to life, and especially with the creator being part of the process of the TV show. But man, like I'm the type of person that if I'm reading a book, watching a movie, you know, listening to something, I'm putting myself in the character's shoes.
I imagine it all the time.
Yeah.
That's why I was over there crying. I was like, no.
Get a grip, woman.
Right. No, girl.
I'm saying it, but I'm also crying. I'm like,
I'm crashing now watching them. Yeah. Like, no, damn it, Ellie.
But it's a really good show. If you haven't gotten into it, either, you know, play the video games, watch the gameplay on YouTube. I do that because I'm just, your girl can't handle jump scares. not alone. I can't do that shit.
Milo can't save you then,
No,
girl.
he wouldn't even. He'd probably run the other way. He wouldn't even be able to help. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. But I am really enjoying it, even though like I'm not like a video game person. I do love dystopian style TV shows, like The Handmaid's Tale. Have y'all watched The Handmaid's Tale?
Yes, girl.
Ooh, Lord.
And it's getting good too. This is the final season.
I will say, some of these characters are getting on my fucking nerves.
Exactly. Thank you.
They're getting on my fucking nerves. Okay. Ooh, the amount of times I roll my eyes.
Sometimes I have to pause it, dude. Sometimes I get so pissed. I'm like, I pause it and walk away. Dude. I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
Nick is my least favorite character. I was telling Christian, because we watch these shows together, and I was like, I don't trust him. Exactly. I don't trust Sabrina. I don't trust none of the people from Gilead. Like, no, I do not trust any of those people, because at the end of the day, they're commanders. So if you have not watched The Handmaid's Tale or read the books, it is based on the books. The Handmaid's Tale, Margaret, I forget, Atwood. Yeah, Margaret Atwood is the writer. And it basically follows how America turned into a dystopia. It kind of follows the infertility crisis and how the government basically imposed laws to make sure that they could repopulate the world. And
so if that sounds
a little familiar, keep your eyes open, okay? Because I always say art is a reflection of our society, right? It's a reflection of life. So there's truths in everything that we see, because people are literally living these things, right? And so this is like way, way, way like deep into a dystopian, because the handmaids are actually the people or the women who live in the house with a husband and a wife, and the handmaid is supposed to be there so that the husband basically grapes the handmaid to be able to have babies for the wife.
Basically, ultimately, like an incubator for the family. Now, Margaret Atwood did mention, I believe there was something that I read that she mentioned that she writes books, she writes stories that is based on true events.
Yes. So all of the events that happened, not necessarily happened in the United States, but they happened somewhere around the world. So everything is derived from true life. Yeah. And the fact that we are seeing some of these themes coming back up and coming back around in our own government,
especially
and society,
with reproductive rights,
especially with that, we are seeing some of those things happen because history repeats itself.
Exactly.
Right. So if you're not being aware and like seeing all of these context clues from way back then, like it's coming back because.
And now they're trying to ban these books, not even in schools. They're trying to ban them in bookstores and libraries. Yes. And it's kind of
Fahrenheit 451, y'all. Fahrenheit 451 is a book about people having to burn books that go against society's or the government's views on how we should live our life. And they were trying to save the books. And 451 Fahrenheit is the heat level that it takes to burn a book completely. So all of these dystopian books and stuff, I'm really into that. And I think that's why I have a little bit more of like a awareness because it's like, no, this is all reflection.
I've seen this before.
Hold on, wait a minute.
I've read about it.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Didn't this person say that? Let's not even go too far. Just recently, and this wasn't a part of our spicy takes, but just recently, there's a woman that is brain dead. She's on life support,
Really?
and they're only keeping her alive because she's pregnant, so that they can keep the baby full term
or something. Because she's not gonna be able to give birth.
Exactly, but keep the baby full term because she's pregnant. So she doesn't even have the right to die officially.
I haven't even heard that story.
Yeah, dude, it's terrible.
No,
so,
yeah,
and that happened it happened in one of the seasons for Handmaid's Tale.
Mm-hmm.
It did.
Yeah, they did keep her alive, and yeah, they did a lot of different things, so like
if
torture
you're not,
things.
Yeah, if you're not seeing it now, if you're not seeing it like within real life, you're gonna see it play out in books. Mm-hmm. You're gonna see it play out in TV shows and movies and things like that. And even then, we're getting kind of censored with that because Trump wants to put a tariff on movies that are created outside of the U.S. And the majority of movies are foreign. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no, that's crazy. And like I listened to a podcast called Radio Lab, and they do like scientific type of research. And one of the topics that they were talking about was the global population.
Right.
So by 2060, we're going to reach the pinnacle of our population. And then after that, it's going to decrease. And so they were also tying in like immigration laws. The reason why immigrants are so important is because they help populate each country and continue to have kids serve the adults, basically, right? Yeah. Because in Vietnam, apparently, I did not know this, in Vietnam, it is more common for families to not have kids. So you can have a marriage and no kids. So at this point, they do not have anybody to really take care of the old people. They don't have, they went from 500 kids at the elementary school that they have in that city that they were talking about to only having 5 kids.
I believe it.
And the schools that they had, the elementary schools that they have that do not have any kids or students in them, are now nursery homes for the old people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's just like, dang, if we continue the way that we're continuing, we're not going to have a like well-oiled society to be able to take care of each other and continue to have this thriving economy, thriving lifestyle that we have here. And so I think that the government is obviously aware, because our like birth rate is not as high as other places. It has decreased a lot. And I think that part of it with the like abortion laws and everything like that, the government is trying to incentivize women to have kids. Like I think I saw he was trying to give them medals for like being able to have children.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? Or no, give me 3 months, give me a year of, living at home with my child, so I don't have to go back to work. Like
maternity leave.
Give me that maternity leave. Give me insurance, and then maybe I can have a kid.
Yeah. I don't want your medal.
No.
I think he was saying like there were specific medals for how many kids you could have or something like that.
You gonna give me some cash? You gonna give me some welfare, some Medicaid?
What did Cardi
because
B
you're trying to take that away.
She says, I need cheese for my egg. Like shit.
Literally.
I got a baby.
Come on. And they're taking all of the rights that we need, or like all of the welfare things that we need.
Yeah.
For a fucking medal. That make it make sense. You
can wear the medal. I'm okay.
Yeah, no.
We're good.
But The Handmaid's Tale is pretty scary because
there is a huge trigger warning.
They actually do the trigger warning twice.
Yeah.
That's the only show I've seen that they do trigger warning twice.
It's a lot. If you get triggered easily, don't watch it.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of abuse going on because the commanders who
sexual and physical.
The commanders, they take advantage of the handmaids. There's a lot of sexual content because these people in Gilead, they say that they are God-fearing people, but then they have the Jezebels, which is a strip club / like brothel type place.
So they use the Bible in order to set rules in their society called Gilead. So the reason why they use A Handmaid's Tale is it's because of the story of, I believe, Rachel, that they couldn't bear children, and so they needed somebody in the middle to kind of like literally in the middle to kind of actually conceive. So that they're using passages from real verses in the Bible. And that's a problem because ultimately you're having a government to decide what the meaning of the spirituality
right. And the thing is,
be.
they are weaponizing the Bible against their society and only picking and choosing the verses that they want to be able to say that no, this is not right in the eyes of God, right? And the commanders, they definitely take advantage of those verses that they know, because in one of the scenes they were this is in the last season that we're watching right now, but they set out a table because Serena, the main character, the lady who actually created Gilead,
basically like the president's wife, if you will, but she helped create. She
helped create it because she was like, no, we need to have more women have babies, this and that. But then it turned into like a very dark society. So she comes back to Gilead and they have a whole like dinner and this and that, and she's asking one of the commanders to do a prayer. Can you pray for our food? And he has no idea what to say. Does not know how to pray. So these people
he was also the founder.
Yes, he was one of the founders. So it's just like all of these people who are saying that they are God-fearing, they know the Bible, they're pushing the Bible and religion onto people, aren't even praying, don't even pray to God. So it's just like the hypocrisy that we see in this show is very relevant to
life,
to the hypocrisy that we see now in real life. Because Trump be waving that Bible up and he has his version of the Bible and whatnot. How many times do you think that man opened that Bible?
Uses that a paperweight on the desk, basically.
That he doesn't even read the Constitution, because he literally admitted he does not know the Constitution. He has lawyers for that. So
there's a lot of I don't know.
If he doesn't know the Constitution and he's the president and he's talking about the Bible, how many times do you think he actually read the Bible? So just saying that, putting that out there.
No, so these are a couple of the shows that we've been watching. So like The Last of Us is on HBO Max, and then Handmaid's Tale is on Hulu.
Yeah, they're pissing me off. even the main character.
Well, I think we followed it so much to the point where this is like the climax of the situation, and the climax ain't climaxing. Like it's so unfulfilled. No. It's on the right path of like doing what you need.
Like, does it make me a bad person that I wanted to see more blood in the last episode? I was like, they're getting their revenge, y'all. They're supposed to. I want to see, because guess what? We saw when they cut her finger. We saw when they did all of these torturous things to June and the rest of the women.
Let's not forget
Janine, exactly. And I don't even get the pleasure of seeing like 5 commanders die. I saw June kill the one commander, but
that's not the same.
It's not the same. I wanted a bloody ass wedding. Like,
well, it's because that's what you expect after all of this built up. I mean, the way they killed Frank.
Yeah, true.
Or Fred. Sorry, Fred. Off Fred. Yeah. So the way they killed him, I imagine that would be the same situation.
Right, because they threw the founder, the husband of Serena that we're talking about here, they threw him to the forest and had these handmaids who were liberated, who lived in Canada at this point, who were refugees. They had them run after him and literally tear him apart.
He was... It was bad.
It was bad.
It was really bad.
It was really bad. Yes. And it's just like, it's crazy though, because at the end of the day, humans are complex beings and emotions get in the way and things, you have to make sure you plan everything accordingly.
For real.
But no plan is ever perfect in The Handmaid's Tale.
And that's exactly what the last episode showed. So sometimes the plan that you create doesn't necessarily go the way that you need to, but you have to have some like backup plans. And that's exactly what June had. That's exactly what, people that were in the rebellion, basically, that's what they're doing. So
but yeah, you guys, we're trying not to spoil anything, so we're gonna stop it right here because I want to keep talking. But if you have not watched it, make sure to watch The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu, and then The Last of Us is on HBO. And if you want us to recap other shows more in depth, let us know, because I really do love watching TV and like talking about this stuff. So until next time, guys, bye.